All right, ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to What's Here Now, Kid?
Where we take the wise and often wild and wacky wisdom of children and apply it to our overly complicated adult lives.
In this episode, we talk about how important it is to practice.
Soccer's my favorite sport because it's very fun.
Yeah, I see the big smile on your face. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. What other things do you like about it?
You can learn more skills every day when you practice.
Okay, so there's a chance to be better.
Get better every day.
Wow.
I love this one. What a great kid.
There's so much going on with this guy, and you picked this one out right away. Like, this was the one that resonated with you when you listened to it, because we got about 3 minutes with him, this was the one that you first jumped out at you, and it is pretty powerful.
It's practice, practice, practice.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
I mean, I think sometimes we think we can go off and pick up a new skill and master it. And then when we don't, we've talked about this before, maybe we don't take it forward, and here's a kid who says, I like it because, it gives me foot control and more practice every day, and I get better every day. So it's not about being the best. I mean, this is such a common theme for us. He's not worried about being the best. He's just worried about getting a little bit better today than he was yesterday.
Yeah, because for him, and I think for all of us, when we get better at something, it becomes even more enjoyable, right? Whatever that is, if it's a technical sport like tennis or golf, or if it's learning a language, or something we do,
being a better parent,
being a better
human. I mean, who knows, right? Self-development, foot control, right?
Yeah. And of course, you and I talk about this a lot between us and with clients and other colleagues about Gladwell and his 10,000 hours.
That's right.
Right.
Which explain a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for those of you out there that are fans of Malcolm Gladwell, one of his, axioms or rules is that it takes 10,000 hours to be a master. And he has a book all about it. And, he talks about the Beatles, and he talks about Bill Gates and all these people that had these tipping points and then practiced. They were in it early and then practice. And that's why they were so far ahead of everybody else, right? The Beatles went to Germany one summer and played in a strip club 8 hours a day, all the music they could play. And when they returned to London, they were so far ahead of all the other bands that only get to play on the weekend.
Right.
Right. And so when they show up, they come back, they're like real rock stars, and everybody else is still a bar band.
Right.
And they were just having a blast, and they talk about how it was so nuts in the 3-4 in the morning. Oh my God, we got to play I Want to Hold Your Hand again. Right. But they were doing it. And so when I listen here to our guest, it's the sort of the same thing, right?
Yeah. And it also comes to me too about presence. Just with him, again, it's not, I think, in our overly complicated adult lives, which is what we say we're tending to here on the podcast. It's all about where we're headed and where we're going and what's the next thing. When he seems like most kids to be really present with, the idea that he likes soccer and he's practicing and he knows it helps his foot control and he's getting better and better.
Yes, that's so true. And some of the stuff that isn't in this recording that would make that even more powerful is, for instance, he taught himself a magic trick. So of course, I was the subject in the magic trick.
Okay.
So he's working on that.
Okay.
And then he was running over and playing the piano every once in a while because he's learning that too.
Okay.
So I got sort of this jump from spot to spot to spot, but all this like on the fly practice. But the magic trick was also happening, right?
Okay.
So I'm wondering if that's another thing. It's just like this thing captures our attention. A magic trick is very present.
Right.
I'm not like, God, tomorrow I'm going to think about a magic trick.
Right.
I've got this magic trick here, Catherine. Let me show you how it works. Right. Pick a card.
Yeah. And what is it about practice for you?
For me, as an adult, I think I can tell you a time where practices failed me and where practice has done well. And practice failed me. Now, I don't want to say failed, but practice became almost insurmountable to go to the next level on a couple things. One was golf for me. I had to spend much more time to get to the next level of where I was. And so for me, it was like, I'm happy here at this level of game at that time. And another one was a triathlon.
Okay.
To go to the next level, I would have had to spend a lot of time to like knock 5 minutes off.
Got it. Okay.
Whereas practice with learning a language has been really great. I can tell when I'm not practicing because I'm not thinking in French.
Right.
And so then immediately I run over and I read some articles, or I spend 30 minutes listening to French radio. And it's enthusiastic because all of a sudden I start to hear the radio. I listen, instead of listening to it, I'm hearing it. I'm comprehending it.
Right.
And so for that, then it reinvigorates me to practice.
Okay.
I don't know if that connects to what you're saying.
To me, what's coming is like to have a vision of something of where you want to go. Like he's seen soccer. He likes it. His parents said, "Do you want to play?" He said, "Yes." I'm guessing it's some version of that happened to get him where he is now.
Yeah.
And for me or for us as adults, it's like, what do I want to be better at? Ooh, like for you, I want to go take a language. Or, for me, I'd like to get better at this skill, or maybe this thing in business, or a better speaker, or, writer, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then from there, what happens is, we go out and we practice the craft, and we learn along the way. We see what it brings us. And, I think being present with it. And I love what he said about foot control.
What do you like about that?
Well, it's just like he's like they're all over the place, and it's not very comfortable when they're all over the place. And boy, is it not,
Yes, that really sort of validates what we've just said.
Yeah,
right. Because who wants to play soccer where their legs are akimbo and it's crab soccer or whatever they used to play in the gym?
But think about in life too, when you're all over the board, and you can, you can't keep yourself straight, and you're doing all these different things. You're starting up. It isn't very comfortable.
No.
I mean, sometimes it's necessary to get to, if you're in transition or you're picking something new up or who knows what, but I just thought it was a really great analogy for like, no, it's just not very comfortable when your feet are everywhere. And, it's an analogy for we walk on this earth. We're grounded. We're humans, and like, no, it's really not that comfortable, is it?
Yes. And also too, learning is sort of like the curve, right? You go into these, we've learned this as becoming professional coaches, right? About the learning dip. And so you can be practicing and feel like, oh my God, I am not getting this. My golf game is awful. My tennis game match, I can't hit the tennis ball. I can't speak 3 words in a row of Spanish. And then all of a sudden, you are the king of Spain. And you're speaking like you invented the language. And then we go through these learning dips, and practice gets us through those dips. You will come out of it. If you drop into the dip, it's interesting to me is, what do you do when you hit to the dip? Do you abandon or do you move forward? In some cases, I have chosen to abandon. In other cases, I have muscled through the dip.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just such a good analogy for life, because there's not a lot of I guess in practice, there's not a lot of drama in it. It's just, I'm going to practice. You don't, do I want to? Do I not want to? It's just, I'm going to practice.
And you're in it.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool about practice, right? And when you're practicing, you should be associated. You're right there.
Present.
Right, very present.
Right.
Right. I always...
We're practicing podcasting right now. How's it going?
Well, I always wonder about folks in endurance athletics who wear headgear. It's called disassociated running or disassociated cycling.
Like headphones and helmets?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they still have their helmet on if they're in the cycling, but I'm saying if they're running along and they've got the headphones on,
right?
It's so that you don't listen to your body or anything else that's going around you. You're trying to
muscle through.
You're trying to forget all the things that your body may be feeling by listening to the music. You're bored. How can you be bored? You're running 5 miles. Right? Take the headphones off.
Oh, interesting.
Smell, listen, see all that's going around. You can listen to, that music anytime you want. Why are you doing it when you're doing this other really cool thing, which is practice, right?
Right. And presence. It comes back to being present. Like you said, how could you be bored? You're running 5 miles. Look at the scenery. Where are you?
It's
what
amazing.
Are the smells? What are the sounds?
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely. And be in that piece of it, right?
Yeah.
In practice, you are trying to be better in some way. I want to be faster. I want to be stronger. I want to be lighter, whatever it is, right? I want to speak more fluently or fluidly.
Right.
So be in it. When you're practicing French, you don't put headgear on and listen to, Justin Timberlake or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, I just keep hearing, be present and be present in your practice.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, because, even if you're performing in that game, you're also still to some degree practicing whatever that game is, whether it's your speaking engagement or your big presentation at work or, whatever, you're still practicing.
Yeah.
It's not like the be all end all. It's just be in the moment, be with what you've chosen to do, what led you here, and be here now.
Yeah. And with the idea that whatever happened in this practice happened in this practice.
Right.
It's not what's going to happen in tomorrow's practice.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Because today's practice was really good or really bad doesn't mean tomorrow's will be.
Right.
Right.
Right. And where are the learnings? I mean, don't the learnings come a lot of times they come from those more difficult practices, even from the better ones, so it's just like, what are the learnings? Okay, great. I got that. Let's move on.
So I'm going to throw something out here for everybody. And my thing is this is sort of figuratively, take off the headphones.
Yeah.
And enjoy the
practice.
practice.
About that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Enjoy the practice. Associate with the practice. Be present.
Yeah.
Notice what's going around.
Mine is be present in your practice.
Okay. So
this
is like the first time we actually have the same exact thing. Is
right?
That right? I don't know. And challenge yourself. And I would really like to hear from people on this one, Catherine, right? Because we all do other stuff.
Right.
So what was it like to really be in practice?
And to be present in your practice. What showed up? What sprouted there in that moment?
Yes.
Of being present.
So send us something. I think we're at info at whatsherenowkid.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
Oh my goodness. I never say that one so much. I'm like, oh my God, which URL is that? Yeah. So send us something on info at whatsherenowkid.com and let us know if you tried it differently this time.
And if you like this podcast, please go on to iTunes and rate and review us with a positive review. We love to hear back from you guys.
Hey, Catherine, where do they find us?
We are at whatsherenowkid.com.
Whatsherenowkid.com. It gets better every time you say it.
I know, doesn't it? It's just cool.
And I'm Joe Shum. I'm a success coach with Soul Patch Hippo. Be big, be cool, be hippo.
And I'm Catherine Sable. I am a coach as well, and I inspire entrepreneurs to do epic shit.
Yeah.
In this next episode, we talk about relationships and how to be more intentional about all the people that you come into contact with.
Geez. I'm running out of ideas.